This is a new House Oversight Committee chairman is calling on Hunter Biden to provide documents relating to any involvement by his father in his business dealings. Joining me now, NBC News senior investigative producer Sarah Fitzpatrick and former U.S. Attorney Paul Charlton. So, Sarah, first to you. Talk to me about the letter sent by Hunter's attorney, one of her newer attorneys joining the team, Abbe Lowell, well-known Washington defense lawyer.
Absolutely, a very well-known Washington defense lawyer. Andrea, these letters are really Hunter Biden going on the offensive. It's the first steps in a legal strategy that we know has been over a year in the making. The letters are very detailed requests to over a dozen individuals to preserve all types of evidence, everything from texts to calendars that might relate to Hunter Biden. And what we can tell from these letters is the detail and the level of specificity reflects that Lowell and his team are not just sending a message, they are really preparing for potential criminal trials that they believe, armed with this evidence and what's already in the public domain, they think they can win.
And Sarah, separate the allegations made by Republicans from actual evidence here regarding the laptop. Is there any evidence regarding the laptop that involves Hunter Biden breaking any laws?
So specifically to the laptop, NBC News has examined various versions of this, and there's no concrete evidence that we've been examined of any true crimes that have been committed related to allegations of corruption, foreign influence, etc. Now, it's important to recognize that there is a separate federal grand jury investigation going on in Delaware that we have learned is related to Hunter Biden's taxes, but that is not specifically related to anything that's on the laptop. Andrea.
And Paul Charlton, so you're the lawyer here. Let's talk about, there are other issues involving Hunter Biden. There's a possible gun violation. There are those tax issues where back taxes was repaid, as is often done without criminal penalty. How do you see the breadth of this whole investigation, which has become, such a hot topic because of Republicans overstating what's going on?
So, Andrea, as you and Sarah point out, there has not yet been a civil lawsuit. This is a precursor to a civil lawsuit. It is a request by Hunter Biden's lawyers that evidence that may relate to a possible future lawsuit be preserved. And as you point out, all of this takes place in the backdrop of a federal grand jury investigation in the District of Delaware, something that the Hunter Biden team will have to be very careful about and will most certainly be thinking about as they move forward, is whether or not they want to truly initiate a civil lawsuit here, because we all know about our right to remain silent. We all know about our right to be very careful about how it is we interact with federal law enforcement when they're conducting an investigation. Bringing a civil lawsuit can make that more difficult, as you are going to be and perhaps will have to sit down for a deposition or share evidence. So no civil lawsuit has been filed yet, and whether or not a civil lawsuit is filed in the future, we'll just have to wait and see.
What about the investigation, that grand jury investigation? Do we know exactly, are they zeroing in on the taxes, on the gun? I mean, he has written a confessional book, so it's all out there that he had a severe drug problem, and it was obviously of grave concern to his family. And he also had business dealings that in Ukraine and China could be conflicts of interest. But what about breaking the law? Paul?
It's hard to assess what the weight of the evidence would be, Andrea, because the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, a Trump holdover, has been appropriately closed-mouthed about the evidence he is receiving and what it is he may do as a next step. It may be that no prosecution is forthcoming, or one may end up at the end of the day coming forward. But for the charges, we wouldn't yet know. We just have to wait and see, let the process play out. We can be sure that the individuals who are in charge of this investigation, while it is a former Trump employee, these are men and women who are career prosecutors who will make the decision and make the best decision based upon the facts that are put before them.
And separately, Sarah, what we have, the action going on the Hill now with the new House majority is, again, renewing claims that have not been substantiated, that there was a commingling of funds, that somehow Joe Biden, who clearly was helping his son financially, was involved with him in businesses. None of that's been ever established.
Not from evidence that we've seen,
Yeah.
Andrea. The committee is just getting started. Literally, they're still setting up their office. So we expect that there's going to be an ongoing investigation. They're going to attempt to, get documents. They're going to attempt to have people come in and testify. This morning, Hunter's attorney sent a very strongly worded response back to the committee. And so I think that that's going to be an area of tension, and we're just going to have to wait and see if actual concrete evidence is going to be able to be brought to the table. As of yet, it seems like a very, very steep hill to climb for this committee.